All right, we're here with you Sunday morning, Christmas edition here. Just a couple of days before Christmas here. Fatboy FadeAway Sports, episode 204. Got Tyler McGurk with me. Casey Breyer. Brian Johnson was home. Brian, if you're driving home, hasn't passed Harris Ranch yet. If you're familiar 101, the Highway 1 driver, to all that stuff, the trip to LA, you know what we're talking about. We'll see if he stops by, gets us some. What do they get there, Case? What's he gonna get there? Little biscuits and gravy for Johnson on a day like this. So Brian, it was good to see you. Hope you're out there tuning in. But Fatboy FadeAway episode 204. What's up, gentlemen? How are we doing out there?
Doing good, man.
I'm doing
good. Sunday morning. Get some football, more football. Got
Big
overloaded.
Sports day yesterday.
Overloaded yesterday. College games were terrible, but it's all right. Yeah, good morning, dude. Happy to be with you guys.
Well, that was the talk, Tyler, yesterday. A lot of events. There was a lot to choose from yesterday. Absolutely. If you were a sports fan.
Absolutely. You had a full slate of hockey, NBA. You had the 4 college playoff games, which were absolutely pathetic. And then the 2 NFL games on top of that. It could have been a great sports day. It was a big letdown, but you get what you get.
I ended up watching a little more of UCLA North Carolina basketball the afternoon than I thought. That turned out to be the choice there for me in the afternoon. Brian, 3 more hours to go. My God, what time did you leave this morning?
He was eager to get out of town.
He's eager to get. That's good. Well, he's eager to get home to watch his Niner Dolphins. We'll get to that as well a little bit there with all those things too, but. I kind of feel like the Rickey Henderson news kind of hit me a little bit last night. So I heard it Friday night. I kind of started to hear rumors of it. But you kind of know, I should say on X where I was hearing it and I wasn't seeing anything online. You're kind of like, I don't know, you're trying to feel out what was real or not. But then you start getting like more local guys that are kind of saying that it seems like that it's true. You're like, oh, man, it's just crazy to think about him at 66. Your parents are 68 now. I guess for me, mortality does for my brain. That's where it kind of starts to kind of just start thinking about your own life a little, and then you kind of start to then think about this guy was kind of our childhood hero. Subways as an A's fan, we kind of looked up to his abilities, kind of how Giants fans maybe had that Willie Mays mystique kind of deal, like even for yourself or those type of things, or maybe how kids look at Bonds now, but. I don't know. It was really shocking. Casey has that poster in the wall. We've had that up in the room forever. And he was just kind of always was a staple of Oakland A's baseball. He was Ricky, so he said his things once in a while. But I don't know. Like, what was it kind of for you guys? Obviously, him being a great player, we'll get into. But did it, Case, for you, like Rickey Henderson passed away? Like, did any of that even cross your mind at all?
Well, I didn't know that he was sick. Hadn't heard anything. Like I said, I texted you yesterday when I heard the news, and I didn't get a lot of the text messages you guys sent me, and so it came as a huge surprise. I was like, damn, like, I don't know, for me that was bigger than Kobe passing away, just for me personally, because the first baseball game I ever saw was Rickey Henderson breaking Lou Brock's record at 939. First baseball game I ever went to when I was 4 years old with mom, and like that, I have the poster, and I just kind of looked up to him as a role model, almost like how I based my baseball, athletic, how I go about things. It was just something that it was just a part of my life.
Yeah, it's interesting because he is kind of, like I said, he's part of there. He played for 24 seasons. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. Here's the play I think you're talking about where he steals third base over there. Against the Yankees. I think here's get Bill King on the call here.
A 1-0 deficit. Rickey goes. A pitch taken. He's going to have it. He does. Rickey Henderson.
Anytime we can get a little Bill King there to go with him, we'll do that when we can. But yeah, still third. That's kind of his iconic moment there. He is known for the SBs, right, Tyler? The Giants fan there. What's your kind of thoughts when? He played for a lot of teams. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So what did you think there?
I mean, he was a legend. It was so much different than anybody else. He was like one of the few players that hit right-handed, fielded left-handed. Like, you don't see those guys very often. And then he was just electric. And then there's the off like the field stories about like John Olerud, and I used to play with a guy who wore a helmet in Toronto, and then I was listening to this one story Brad Osmus was telling. and he waited to get on the team bus, and he wanted his own row, and there was no row for just him. And
Yeah.
Brad says, just kick him off the seat, and you have tenure here. He goes, tenure? I got 20 damn years here. I was like, oh, Ricky. Ricky was like Ricky being Ricky. He was like the first guy to be like that that I knew of.
And he kind of, I was trying to think when you hear, like, you knew because of the stories he was described like this over the years, but I think what makes him unique is if he was fake, he wouldn't have got away with his antics on the field. Does that make sense? Like, there was something about him where people knew this is just how he talked, this is how he played, his style. His flair was there, but like a lot of guys kind of be like, I think a lot of fans didn't like him for that even when he was playing, though. Let's remember that. A lot of fans kind of thought he hot dogged it, and right, that was part of his deal, and that kind of rubbed people still the wrong way. But I think there was something there that was like, you're like, this guy just kind of is how he is. Like, I don't think he's like being fake at all. Like I don't think he was even like rubbing it in, like in a sense. Maybe he was, but I think that's almost like for him how he would motivate himself, like just to get going. And he did play psychological games. I mean, look at these like trots. Like this is not like. I mean, nobody does that. This was hot dogging before you hot dogged, right? Like the pop in the collar and stuff. Just a unique. I don't know. I just found it interesting that you could tell like MLB players just knew that was him, and I don't know, something about that to me is fascinating. Like there was no fakeness about him. They all just enjoyed his energy and stuff. So I don't know.
That bat flip was iconic. The little hot skipping and jump going in the first, and every once in a while he'd do a little spin. Kind of like, and then
look at this, just like little steps right there. Get that left hand ready, right? A wide turn at left there.
Dude, outside the first baseman spot. First baseman spot.
Wide turn.
Yeah, I think the one thing too that gets now, I mean, us locally know this, but he was drafted by the A's, and he's from Oakland, and so that's
crazy
a thing for him. Just one of the major things he said, like in life, was just growing up rooting for your home team and your hometown and get drafted by them, and then come up. And he was really young when he came up too. I believe he was like 19, I believe, when he came up with the A's, and just went on to have an amazing career. And he really kind of started the free agency a little bit, you know, with the 4-year, $12 million
Ricky wanted his money.
So he had a unique way, and you could ask anyone in Oakland, he was revered. I mean, just to a different extent. I even think like
him and Stewart throughout that last pitch.
I think a good comp you said was like Willie Mays, and the way they played the game, it was like a childlike. They were just having fun. They made it look fun. It was just, you know, I wanted to go to the ballpark and like emulate Rickey Henderson, you know.
His stance too, of course, right there with it.
Yeah,
right? Yes.
And it was impossible to do because he was just one of a kind. You could try your best to be like him, but it's just that was who he was. Like you said, it emboldened who he was, just an original guy.
Yeah, so for me, it's just kind of funny looking at it, like just like an iconic player like that. And he was younger, and Willie Mays is kind of a good one because of like the longevity of their careers too. I mean, they just played so long. Willie, I think people would say, was the better player because of the thing, but very rarely you get a man that steals as many bases as he did and basically end up with 300 home runs. We talked to the personality. This one I've known for a while, but just Harold Reynolds says it so well, and like, so I know like some people haven't heard it. This is one of my favorite stories on Rickey Henderson. Like again, just a kind of speaks to just, it was just who he was, whether you liked him or not. But he wasn't kind of the ass that bonds, because I think a lot of players were like kind of turned off by his demeanor. Like maybe Rickey was arrogant, but there was something about it where you're like, at least I'm enjoying his arrogance. Like I don't know, there was something there with some of the people that the stories go that way. So here's one with Harold that I always like.
Stolen base title. It's the first and only time anybody in the 80s outside of Rickey won a stolen base title. Rickey's still on 120, 110 a year. Rickey got hurt like in May, and I think he had like 30. So it comes down to the last day of the year. Willie Wilson has 59. I have 59. I steal a base. Willie Wilson goes 0 for 5. I win the title. Monday morning, phone rings. I go over and pick up the phone. Henderson here, because Rickey never speaks. He speaks in third person regardless. Henderson here. I said, hey, what's up, Rick? What's going on, man? He says, 60 stolen bases. You ought to be ashamed. Ricky, a 60 at the All-Star break. Click.
So just like those type of things, I got a Will Clark one every time they sent me as well. That's kind of funny as well. So just kind of like, I think that there was a natural this title. Even Will Clark, who's known for being one of the biggest, not a fan favorite for players that he was going against. And even he kind of had to laugh at stuff like that as I'll get that one up here too. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think that part for me.
I did get a chance. I did get to hear a chance story. I thought it was kind of funny. There's so many stories out there. And, like, people are like, are these true? Are they not? And they're like, all of them have been confirmed so far. So why would you not think these ones are not true? And that is the guy, you probably know him from Fox Sports, but it's Joel Klatt. He does some football stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess he got pulled up to AAA, and he was, they put him at batting behind Ricky and in AAA, and Ricky got just signed with the Padres, and I guess he'd get on base, and Joel Klatt said he'd just look back at him and just go 2 or 3. He was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? 2 or 3. He's like, I have no idea what he's saying. He's like, I'm just swinging as hard as I can to impress the guy. And he goes, I don't know, I'm about 20 at bats in. He goes, 3-4 games. He goes up to the skipper, the manager, and he's like, what the hell is Ricky mean when he says, like, yelling out these numbers? He's like, that's how many pitches he wants you to take so he can steal seconds.
He's like, man. I mean, if we just talk baseball though for a second, like Tyler, we're not gonna have a player like this. I would be stunned in our lifetime. I mean, he kind of reminds me, if I'm going to put this to a basketball, like he's kind of like John Stockton in the sense that he holds 2 records that are very high in just that sense, that are very important to the game, but for some reason, in a weird way, they're not celebrated the same as the home run or the points in basketball type of deal, if that makes a little sense. But I don't know, like the point of the game is scoring runs, and last time I checked, he has the most ever to do it, which is kind of nuts to think about that. Somebody that played for 25 years. I mean, the greatest leadoff hitter ever. I mean, I don't know. There's something that's kind of nuts about his, like I said, a true 101 that we lost. True 101.
No, I mean, there's no leadoff hitters anymore, like real leadoff hitters. Like there's power hitters like Ohtani, but he's not a true leadoff hitter. Or Acuna. Like Acuna is probably the closest thing to one we have now, but he's not going to steal 100 bases. He'll hit for a little more home runs than Ricky and play good defense like Ricky and play other side of the field. But there's nobody who's going to be Rickey Henderson. It's an impossible standard to be held to.
I think it's like he had 484, they said, after he broke Lou Brock's record or whatever that was, that one we just showed. And he would still be like 63rd all time if he just took his last 9 years. Like after that, he was already there. So I don't know. I think you're right. He was special there. And I was like, how do I put it into words? How do I give the stats here? Okay, this guy after this, we'll kind of move on with it, but in a few. But I thought Tim Kirchin just says it like this is literally what you want when you hear somebody talk about a player. Like this is the stat.
Henderson Jeff is one of the greatest players of all time. He is the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. He's one of the 3 greatest left fielders of all time. He led the major leagues in history in runs scored, and he stole 468 more bases than the next most in the history of Major League Baseball. He had 297 homers while stealing over 1,400 bases. He had a home run in 25 consecutive seasons, and he was the best player on those great Oakland A's teams. He was also a really good defensive left fielder. In 1981, he became the first left fielder in the live ball era, 1920 on, to lead the league in putouts. There wasn't anything on the field that Rickey Henderson couldn't do.
And the one that stands out to me about the most, I don't know, just give me your stat that remember 130 stolen bases in a season. It's just like the 1,400 I know is crazy too, but like 130 to me is like, my God. I mean, Tyler, one year he goes 117 he goes 117, 116, 103, 126, 120, 125, 118. I mean, that's a ton of stolen bases over 100. I mean, 14 years into the league, he stole 120 bases. 1999, 20 years later, he stole 118. It's just kind of nuts to think about that somebody like that He actually ended up with 126. That was his high mark, but still, 130 is the high mark. It's just those stats to me are just insane. I don't know. That's just crazy to me.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he was playing mind games with the pitcher. I mean, that's the famous one. I think a lot of people forget was the slide step by Mitch and gave up the home run, the Joe Carter.
Mitch. He looks so weird to be in a Blue Jays uniform. Which one does he look weirder in? The Angels one?
Angels, yeah.
The Angels one? And then the Padres, those two.
Padres. Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, he has the most, which if you're going to go baseball, most unintentional walks with over 2,100 and change. But he just set the table. I mean, he was just like a purified leadoff hitter. You'll never see anyone play the game. I think that's what baseball is really trying to get back into.
Well, I think that, but he's, and like losing him, like they got to get a guy. Like I said, Case, the one thing with these guys is the longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why, the man of steel from most of it. What if him and Barry Bonds played on the same team? That'd be quite the personalities.
Yeah. God. I mean, if you think about it, the only reason the Yankees got rid of him was when he was 30 and they thought he was like kind of was eroding. Like he didn't really have like the skill set he had. And shit, lo and behold, he goes to the A's.
He's back.
Oh, man.
Wins MVP in 1990 as well. So, all right, I'll get up the Will Clark story kind of for one of my winners of the week here. That's a good one. I'll get up there. Tyler sent me. I like that one a lot. The way Will tells the story is always good stuff as well. So yeah, Tyler, I was saying Bonds and Henderson, probably the two greatest Bay Area baseball players. Probably in our lifetime, I would say they're right, and they both played left field. Kind of funny that was the. Would you say those are the two best? It's got to be, right? It's not even. Close.
Yeah, I think it's not even close, really. They dominated. I was
trying to think who was
baseball.
3. Is it Posey? It can't be Posey. It's got to be some Jeff Kent.
I don't know.
Jason Giambi. We have to think about that. Probably Eckersley or Stewart, maybe, or one of those guys. Maybe those would be the Eck. Maybe that gets thrown in there. But anyways, those are the two best that we've had there in our lifetime for sure. I bet then they both would probably say they were the best. They probably would.
Well, they both definitely would say they're the best.
So kind of a sad day in the Bay Area, of course, with Rickey Henderson. Only 65. Again, I want to say that. Pretty young.
It's a rough year for the Bay Area's baseball. Like,
especially
as far as losing people, Willie, Orlando Cepeda, Rickey Henderson. Like,
even
a lot of
Al Addles for the Warriors too.
Well, yeah, you gotta add other sports as well. It's been a tough one.
As we kind of transition from Rickey, a little baseball there, talk. Rest in peace there, Mr. Henderson. Well, pretty bad yesterday. Those college football playoff games were pretty awful. There was nothing exciting about them at all.
Not even Rickey could run away from those games.
No, those were some bad games yesterday. I was thinking through how much home field advantage usually matters in the NFL, kind of before the playoffs were starting, and it was making me think like in college football, I would think it would matter even more. And I'm not saying that these teams weren't more talented or not, but I would think in these first round deals, that's going to make a big difference going forward.
Well,
more so.
The whole the teams it was the top echelon teams in college football versus the really good teams. There's a huge gap, and we saw it this weekend. Like SMU had no chance against Penn State, who's known to lose big games. Like they're not even known for winning these type of games, and they're blowing out SMU. And then Indiana just, I don't know, their best game was the loss to Ohio State by 23 points. Like, yeah, that
I want to
they
want
only
to
lost one game all year, but like they showed nothing all year. I mean, they beat Michigan, I guess, but they were terrible except for one game against Ohio State. These teams outside the SEC and Big Ten are just behind the 8 ball to begin with. Like they don't have the opportunities because they're not playing high quality talent every week.
So I think the whole Alabama, they would have probably got crushed too. I mean, Ole Miss lost to Tennessee, so I mean, like they, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, what world?
But that was a home game at Tennessee. Like that's a tough place to play.
Well, they would have had to play at Ohio State. You know, they're probably not winning that game, so they're probably getting crushed. I'd
rather watch that than SMU or Indiana.
I think it goes back to I think these teams are. I think they're just kind of at the mercy of the college football is always top heavy in that regard. And like as much as we want to hate it, like the top four, like usually those games were not that great either. And I'm not saying that there wasn't some decent top four games while they were doing it, but usually it's not like they were like always great games. I remember Michigan getting crushed in Dallas there against Clemson. Like I don't know, like I think this would be the one year where you'd be like, I'd be okay with Oregon versus Georgia. Just sign me up for that one. Like I don't need all these games to get to it, I guess, for this one year. But I do find it fascinating that just so I'm clear, do you guys know the rule for sure? Is this round is home games? Next week is like the Sugar Bowl, All-State, all that. Yeah. I'm guessing they're local to the teams that are there. And then is the championship game at the home place, or is that the national championship game? Kind of at one. Do you guys know where that stands?
No. I think there's a national championship site that's one of the big bowls as well.
It's a neutral site. So yeah. I was thinking, like in some ways, if you're the 8 through 12, if you're like one of the teams that get a home game, that's not a bad little deal. Those teams this week that got an extra home game. That's not a bad little deal at all. Get that one.
Generate a little revenue for sure.
That was good. I was disappointed though. Case games, they're pretty bad.
I think there's. I watched pretty much all of the games, and I won't say I tried my best.
I'm sorry.
The biggest difference to me, I think there's 3 factors into it. One, the line play. Defense and offensive line is just, you can tell the difference.
Massive gap.
Texas is just running like crazy. Every game I think had like a 70-yard run at least. It was wild.
What Notre Dame have, like 99 or something?
98 yards. That was a killer. I mean, I think a lot of that too. I mean, if you're an underdog and you get behind the 8 ball like that, like if you get an interception, then throw an interception right back and then give up a 98-yard touchdown, it's just like the momentum is just crushing. But the 3 things I was going to say is the line play, the quarterback play. Man, it's SMU, and there's horrendous, honestly. It was hard to watch. I felt bad for him. Like it was just very, very poor quarterback play. And then the third thing, which comes down to, is home field advantage. I think those are the 3 factors. I mean, anything in football, but especially college, if you get whooped on the offensive line and defensive line, you just become so one-dimensional that becomes hard. And maybe that's why the quarterbacks look so poor. But it's just you put those elements into it. It's a tough thing. And those teams are no slouch. And like Tyler, I agree with you. There's a difference between levels, great, good, and that's kind of where they were at. And they just Indiana and those teams, SMU lost to Clemson in the championship.
That one I don't understand why they got in after that one. That one kind of confused me.
You don't need 12 teams. It's too many.
You need 4.
Just 4 is fine.
You want 4? I was going to say 14.
That's what I'm hearing a lot of people say too.
It's too much. There's not even good teams in the top 12. Like we have SMU, and people feel obligated to put these city conference teams in because they won their conference or they did good. Put the best teams in, the teams that can stand up against each other, like on the offensive, defensive line. Because if you're getting whooped, like you said, Casey, on the offensive, defensive line, it doesn't matter how talented your players are out wide. You're going to lose. I always fall back on, let me watch talent. Maybe you lost one game that you shouldn't have. Hold on.
Was that your dog?
I would rather have seen Miami and Ole Miss instead of Indiana and SMU.
We got our guys out here, Vegas Benchwarmers, tuning in. What we got here? Hope you're doing good there Sunday morning. Enjoyed the sports day yesterday. He says, I think 6 to 8 teams would have been perfect. I mean, what's the saying? Less is more. But I mean, like you said, nobody wants BCS. We don't want that. But like, do you think if you switched the home games yesterday, is there a win for any of those teams?
No.
Like, does SMU beat Penn State if it's at SMU? I'm just saying, like, does it change a lot of it for these teams?
It definitely it affects things. If you can hear on the offensive line, especially.
Would you take Tennessee over Ohio State?
No, I wouldn't. But I think it'd be closer. I don't think they're losing by 30.
I think all the games would be closer. I hope so. Anyways,
but
I mean, it's the same thing in football, like the National Football League. Like there's always blowouts too. I mean,
I hate that 2-7 game. It's I'm with you. That one's been awful. The last ones. The SMU quarterback probably would have played much. He probably would have.
I don't think he could have played any Like,
He
he was atrocious. He was throwing it to the guys like on Penn State. They looked like they were.
He looked rattled. He looked the definition of a little rattled yesterday. It was funny. He looked good against Stanford when I saw him.
I was surprised.
Stanford, not quite when there was about 400 people in the
Powerhouse.
stands. There, right? Wasn't he could hear the caps out really well that day. He could really hear it well that day. Yeah. So SMU, I do love the helmet though.
So going forward, though, do you guys? What is the next?
I think they're only going to get more teams.
No, I mean
Yeah.
going forward to next week. What games are you looking forward to? Are you
Boise State, Penn State randomly? Does Boise State, because if they lose, right? It's an Arizona State lose. I feel like again, it's like, well, these teams they shouldn't have received the bye because there's just more of this kind of like it's just interesting. That storyline will kind of continue. So that storyline has me hooked. The game obviously is Ohio State, Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, if Notre Dame can compete with Georgia, that'd be. But I don't expect them to compete with Georgia. Georgia's going to kick the crap out of them on the offensive and defensive line. I think we're going to have 4 more bad games. To be honest, outside of Oregon, Ohio State. I think,
and that's a 1-8.
Texas blows out Arizona State. Ohio State, Oregon will be close. Notre Dame, Georgia blows them out, and then Boise State, Penn State will be a good game because Penn State isn't. I don't know. They don't impress me.
They don't impress me.
But I do think
I need that.
it's almost like just make it Big Ten SEC. That's where all the talent is. You'll watch the NFL
Oh,
draft.
don't
That's
give
where
me
it
that
all will come
crap,
from.
Lane Kiffin. Don't give me that.
No, I don't want to
You see
watch
the Big Ten?
We just watched 4 blowouts, and guess who was getting blown out? The non-SEC. Well, some of the Big Ten teams. We don't need 12 teams.
Well, I think. I mean, like I said, it's only going to make like Alabama and some of these SEC teams get it more next year when this happens. So that's the one thing they can hold their hat on a little bit. But see, I like the idea of mixing it up. I don't want to just see like that all the same stuff.
I
There
don't
could be
want
good
SMU to have no chance.
I'm so happy Notre Dame won because I would not want to see Indiana play Georgia. That thing would be like 80-4 or 80 like
TCU versus Georgia a couple years ago.
Their coaches looked a little frosty at each other when I saw it. I didn't know they had history there. They looked a little fired up there, Case. They didn't look like
Indiana.
Yeah, the coaches there, Indiana and Notre Dame, they were pretty did not look happy.
Well,
yeah, they didn't look happy.
All right, you guys explain this. If you're down 20-3 with like 10 minutes left in the game, 11 minutes, and you're on Notre Dame's 45, why the hell are you punting it?
He said his offense gave him no confidence in getting that first down, and maybe the defense can make a game-changing play on defense.
Yeah, that's the coach. That's the coach of the year right there. Good job.
That's when your team is just completely outmatched. You go,
Losing
we have
coaching.
no chance of getting a first down. We're going to punt it away.
See, that's a loser. That's a loser mentality right there.
Loser.
Loser
Loser mentality.
of the week right there. Yeah,
Well, hey, here's the schedule for next week. Just kind of, I always like said the home thing too. So yeah, Penn State at Boise, or at, when I say at Boise State, obviously it's not there, but and they play they're going to play in Arizona in Glendale there. So a little bit more. Then you got Texas at Arizona State and Georgia. See how many Arizona State fans make it out to Georgia there. Ohio State versus Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Pasadena, good old Big Ten versus Big Ten matchup. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it was Pac-12, basically the same thing. So you have 2 Pac-12 teams. If I was Bill Walton, I'll say you got 2 Pac-12 teams in it right now. So
Conference of champions.
The conference of champions leading up to it, and then you got your boys Rudy versus Georgia and Louisiana. I would use that would be a
that one's in New Orleans or Georgia.
New Orleans.
Sugar Bowl is that New Orleans? Maybe you're right.
Yeah, that's at the Saints Stadium.
Yeah.
So there, I was like, isn't Louisiana? That's the same thing. I was like, well, that's the same thing. It's a lose mentality, or it's when keeping real goes wrong. Yeah, no, I hear you. Vegas bench warmers. Hope you're good out there. I know your Chiefs got the win yesterday. Your partner in crime is like us, a Raiders fan out here. We're all suffering. So you guys keep up the good work as well. So appreciate you chiming in here. We got college football. I got a winner with them somehow, but I'll get to that when I get to winners and losers of the week. They did somehow pull off winner of the week with it. Any final thoughts there you guys have on college football? Tyler, you got anything?
Let's lower the amount of teams and not include SMU, Indiana, just teams that don't have any talent and play no.
Cal should have gone in. They almost beat Miami. Miami should have been in probably, even though they weren't very fun to watch. the unequal schedule thing is going to continue to be a problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you're playing nobody all year, you get this record that looks like, oh, you're really good.
If you're like the coach of you're like the team, you're like, secretary, you're like, can you give me all the schools that have the word Atlantic in it? I would like to.
or middle. Any team with middle in their name.
Can you just break down that list for me or something Academy? Let me get that and we'll figure it out the rest of the way. Oh, speaking of Vegas, Viva Las Vegas. He was at the Raiders game last week, folks. I'm talking about Sharks for Cup. Ryan McGurkey's tuned in here, and they got spanked. He didn't break it well. They actually only lost by 6, but I think and we can all agree that was probably like watching Peyton Ryan a little bit, Ryan. Let's be real. They have 12. They have 12 teams because it makes more money. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 20 teams shortly. College football is the money driven. Why else would they have 15 garbage bowls nobody watches? You don't watch that Pop-Tart bowl? The Pop-Tart bowl? It's all for the kids.
Do they have a waste management bowl?
Well, the NIL thing's been weird too, right?
SMU versus Penn State.
They got that. That's funny. So yeah. So anyways, what's it? I heard basketball's now going to like 672 now or something. They're trying to get 4 more teams by next year. So everything's about kind of that expansion money idea there for sure. All right. So if we go to NFL real quick, we had the Chiefs. And they beat the Texans yesterday. No surprise. I was watching the game in the second quarter. Just Hannah casually walks in and she's just like, "Why are you watching this? You know the Chiefs are gonna win." Like that was her only comment left. Like I didn't even think she did. I was just like, obviously they have the aura around them that even the most casual of fans know that they're gonna win. Kind of Niners-esque probably from the 80s. I think what I see, Patrick Mahomes and him were the only two quarterbacks to start like 13-1 back-to-back years. Or something like that. So pretty crazy Mahomes. They end up winning. The Ravens get a dub yesterday, but Niners, they play Miami. Raiders, they play in the Tank Bowl versus Jacksonville today. Couple garbage games there for our Barry teams. It does feel like Niners fans are relaxing a little bit knowing that mortality is set in. I feel like this vibe of kind of just accepted what's happening here. Tyler,
let's hope so. I mean, I'm okay with I'm not okay with it.
I'm okay with losing.
Stay healthy, but there's circumstances where I made a list, Darren, about this Niners team, and you were right. That's just a season from hell. From when they lost the Super Bowl, since Greenlaw got hurt in the Super Bowl, they lose the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Ayuk holds out. Trent Williams holds out. They have a player get shot. CMC gets hurt. Season starts. Ayuk gets hurt. CMC then misses 8 games. Ward loses a baby. Trent Williams loses a baby. Campbell quits on the team. And Debo turns into one of the worst players in the NFL. Like, it's impossible to overcome, like, all of that. It's been a terrible season. The offensive line stinks. I mean, Hufanga got hurt as well. It's just been a bad year. And I don't know what else they could do. I wouldn't fire Shanahan. I haven't been on that train at all.
How about the defensive guys are you bringing back? Are you just bringing back Greenlaw?
I'm not trying to bring back Hufanga, but they have Jair Brown stinks. I don't want to watch him anymore. I know who he is. He's not any good. He can't tackle. I want guys who can tackle.
I want winners and tacklers. We all want winners and tacklers.
People who tackle lead the winning.
I don't know. We'll see.
Trey Greenlaw being out there changed their whole defense. They started sucking once he exited the game, and they wanted Devontae Campbell to come back in, and he was. Man,
I just keep saying Purdy's the other one I'm keeping my eye on, man. I think he's the other big storyline as we finish out. Like, I think how much just what
I think that's being overblown too.
Maybe it is, but I think with the possible contract sitting there, it is interesting to see if he makes a little run here to get a little extra money, they would say, or is it, like I said, is the market already set? They play at Miami. We'll see. Miami's not a great team either, so we'll see who gets the W today. I mean, you guys have a 1% chance of making it, so I guess you still would rather win, right? You still rather get it. And then the Raiders, I'm sure they don't have to try very hard, but I mean, Mac Jones, if he quarterback, that might hurt us if he's plays. That might actually go against us, but.
And O'Connell's back too. So
yeah, I mean, just again, they continue to be some just awful And then this weird thing with the holidays where you get the Chiefs played the Texans, Steelers, or Ravens. Then next week it is kind of like
14.
It's like the cup, like that Emerald Cup. That's what it reminds me of.
Like a round robin.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that very often. And then you got the Texans, the big injury there with Dell goes down. Lions losing a little luster, it looks like, as we're getting to the postseason. They're getting a lot of injuries too. So kind of the schedule a little weak, would we say today, gentlemen? Not too many great games out there. I mean, I guess Philadelphia, Washington is one you might keep your eye on, but I wouldn't say it says the luster of some of these other ones. So NFL schedule, not quite the same. How about the Warriors? Tyler, the other day was trade everyone, then they get a big win versus Minnesota. Are we still in the trade, break the Draymond Curry thing up? Or is that just
I would trade them all if I could. Obviously you have to get something back.
You're not trading Curry though.
To get I would if I got something back. We're not winning Curry or we trade for another 1A or a 1B guy.
Is Zion 1A?
Yeah, he'd be 1B. He'd 1B. I'll take Zion and take my chances with Curry. But don't bring me Schroeder and Vucevic and that's not winning. I'd rather just restart at that point.
I like the way you say Schroeder better there, Bess. I like it. You have a little emotion behind him. A little pessimism behind him. No, I think I just wrote Zion down as a name because you guys both said no to Ingram. So then you had I Zion would be the next guy on a terrible Pelicans team. Maybe we get a little Zion, a little Alvarado action. I wouldn't mind. Get a little life.
Favorite player.
Get a little life there with it. No, they end up winning yesterday. Minnesota is having its own struggles as well. That's not a. I mean, it's again they just have too many. They can't score consistently, and that's just gonna. And then what they give up 144 to Memphis, and just what was I saw some tweets like Pods with the runner cuts it to 50, stuff like that. So it's hard to be kind of inspired by them. That right now they are the 7 seed, but they're 15-12. The Suns are 14-13. They're the 11 seed at the moment. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. There's just a lot to be desired there when you watch them play. The eye test, as we'd say, it's not quite fitting. It seems like.
I like the way Trace played though yesterday. He played really well.
He does that, I feel like though, but he's too inconsistent.
The last month he's been pathetic.
That's the problem.
Played good last night, but it just I don't know. I don't believe in any of the young guys as well. So
you said fire Kerr. That kind of surprised me.
Well, if we're getting rid of everybody, might as well just start over completely.
Kerr's just retiring at this point. We're not going pop route. He's like, I'm done. We're out. We're doing all that. All right. So you guys
still think Curry's the same player? Curry's not even the same player.
Not the same player.
Get to the hoop like he used to. He's not even taking 2-pointers anymore.
He looked a little sluggish last night. I don't know.
And he was one of his best games last night too. But he's still I don't know. It's not the same.
How many points is he averaging this year? He's averaging 22. So I would say that's probably a little down, right? From he's only averaging 30. He's only averaging 30 minutes, which isn't very much playing time if you look at the grand scale of things when you look at usually your star players. But he's only getting 30 minutes. Next up is Wiggins at 17, Kuminga 15, Hield 14, and then everybody else is under 10 except for Melton. But of course, he played a very short time. So that's still the issue. Is that scoring is going to continue to be a big issue because you can just overload on Curry, and so if Wiggins isn't hitting threes or he's not being able to bail it out and Hield's not hitting threes, they're kind of in a tough spot. So
when they go cold, they go cold. It's droughts. They're just lucky Minnesota couldn't throw the ball in the ocean in the first quarter. I think they had 15 points halfway through the second quarter.
No, and I don't think Zion would really. He still wouldn't help him with shooting. I don't know. He would give him a different dynamic and he'd give him some life for sure. But
he'd give him someone who can get to the hoop. They don't have a guy.
So Wiggins for you is completely done in that area.
As far as it's play, yeah. I mean, have you watched the games? He doesn't finish at the hoop.
Tough time. Yeah, we'll see what they're at. Tyler's belief in him is
12-4 start is looking very fake.
I want to go. We should go. Can I
They when they play the Indiana schedule to start off for
Exactly.
To the
Indiana
Hoosiers.
SMU schedule.
Too bad like I said, if the season ended there, we got to get Tyler. I wish I could find an intern. I'd be like, clip those Tyler comments from the first 10. Make me a video.
I'll tell
right
you
now.
what I said.
I know, but I want
championship
to for entertainment. I
contenders.
want to clip them for entertainment.
Clip it right now. The Warriors were championship contenders after 14 games.
The one thing I can't stand is that Tyler will back me up on this. I cannot. Bob Fitzgerald's homerism is just becoming too much.
It's always been too much.
I feel like this year it's gone to I feel like Coletta's even pushing back.
Coletta's harder on the Warriors, not all the time, but I'll give you that. I think he does make a little push once in a while.
Bob Fitzgerald brought back the double center as an all-star thing this year. We haven't seen since Dampier and Boyle. Stop when Looney and PJD being an all-star combined on their numbers. They're not good.
Like Kuminga's only 22. You got to remember that. I'm like, yes, we've said that for the last 4 years. That he was only 19. That he was only 20. He was only 21. Yes, I can do math. He is 22.
Next year he'll be 23.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe he's only 29 still.
My
My
dad's like, yes, and Kuminga is still only 32, and he's still developing his game.
I know you're like, what are we talking about? What are we doing here? Yeah, he was.
I gotta talk to Rod Brooks about Bob Fitzgerald.
He was on the morning show a couple of times this week.
Yeah, he did the whole week, I think.
Yeah, I always enjoy when Rod Brooks is on the dial there. Yeah, so you had that with it. All right, so NBA, we don't have Brian's NBA fact of the week here, so you get that. We talked about. I would just recommend. I know a lot of people don't always like Bill Simmons, and I kind of times I'm here or there on him. But when it comes to like NBA, like encyclopedia knowledge, he did a really good thing. It's about 25 minutes long, but he kind of like nobody breaks it down like him with like the history of like the NBA going through what you would call maybe low points, even though they just have a huge deal and all this stuff, but like interest. So if you got 25 minutes, drive it in. It's on YouTube there. Check it out. I sent it to Casey yesterday, but it is fascinating, and only he can break it down the way he does. So I think it would give you some good insight into why or how the NBA might be kind of down in some ratings areas and stuff like that. Part of it is he says they don't have a unicorn.
I could give you one fact I know is that LeBron passed Kareem for the most amount of minutes played in NBA history for a single season.
And he also has the most minutes played with a son on the court at the same time. This guy does it all. This guy does it. LeBron does it. He's the GOAT. LeBron does it all, man. He's always there. Makes me sick. But we'll see if
did you hear him say, "Oh, there's too many 3-pointers being shot. That's why the NBA is being."
Well, no crap.
It seemed like a subtle shot at Steph.
No, it's just you bums decided to shoot more when you didn't should. That's what.
When bad shooters are shooting threes, that's the issue.
If the Bulls shoot 54 threes, it's not a good day.
No, nobody wants to watch the.
You don't have that many good shooters to put up 54.
No, it's not good basketball. I keep trying to say it's not. Everybody plays the same. There is that. What I mean, I don't know what to say. That's just the way it goes.
Houston actually does not play like that. Houston in Memphis actually they play pretty good brand of basketball, actually.
They do, but to me, it all still fits the same, like kind of cookie cutter type thing. But I get you. There's job does bring some excitement. There's a different level. I do.
Green.
Yeah, I don't know. I there is. I've just been a little. That's what I do with college. You still get those post steps once in a while. A big guy, post me up. Give me a touch. Give me a touch of the post.
Yeah, but they're scrubs posting up. We need Timmy back. I don't know. It's just.
The guy at UCLA
it's
had
all
a nice
the same.
That's what they were saying. They're like, do you miss the Eric Snow, Tyrone Hill pick and pop?
Yes, I do. No, that I do not. No, but that was a bad part of basketball too, is they didn't have any 3-point shooting. I'm just saying you got to have a good mix, and sometimes now it's just all the same. Tyrone Hill.
I missed the Kurt Thomases of the world, the little 16-foot jumpers.
PJ Brown, elbow jumpers. PJ Brown from the Hornets.
Carlos Boozer.
Those power forwards, you had to be able to hit that elbow jumper. That was a big part of the game.
David West, who perfected it.
Charles Oakley getting those looks for the Raptors back in the day. Yeah, so you got that. All right. Movie picks for this week. I actually came up with a list here. What I got with it. So we got some good feedback on it last week. The Honey. Tyler wasn't on last week. He missed last week's, but Did you listen to
I
our?
missed the movies.
Well, Tyler, you had a whole week to go back.
I heard
and listen
Brian
to it.
talking about college. They need college basketball 3 years of players, and I said I've heard enough of it.
You got to go back and listen to the movie picks on it. Brian had some good stuff. Did you listen to Brian's best line was the turkey and mustard line? So I got to give him that joke.
I have no idea what it's talking about.
You got to listen. It's our own podcast, for God's sakes, man. So we got that with it. Here's what
Tyler is busy.
he was busy.
Pissed off my damn Wi-Fi wasn't working.
Still support the show. It's just here's our movie picks for this week. Tyler's back with us. I know we go Santa Claus or Family Man. Santa Claus is one with Tim Allen. Family Man's the one with Nicolas Cage, where basically the story where he wakes up. He's in the life would have been if he would have said yes to this girl before he goes to the airport. If you haven't seen the movies, I will get it. But those are the two I have. Family Man came out in 2000. Santa Claus, I believe, in 1993.
I'll go Santa Claus, but it's the first movie I ever went. Not the first movie I ever went to with my dad, but the first movie I remember him falling asleep and snoring. And I was like, "All right, you must not be enjoying this movie." But I've never seen Family Man, so I don't.
It's on Netflix right now.
All right, maybe I'll check it out. Tim Allen is classic. I love Tim Allen. He's a funny guy.
Oh yeah, I'll go Santa Claus. I mean, easily classic. I always like the part when he goes to the soccer games to see his kid, and then all the kids start lining up, and they're all sitting on the bench. The little girl keeps close to him, and all of a sudden he's on his lap, and she's like, "I'll take a little thought."
He's going Family Man. I saw it yesterday. It's pretty good. There was some good scenes in it. I gotta agree. First time seeing it. I enjoyed
my favorite line.
Tradition, though.
My favorite line in Santa Claus is when they burn the turkey in the beginning. He's like, "We're going to Denny's. It's an American institution." And it's a bunch of like Chinese people, and he's like, well, "This is what we're doing for Thanksgiving."
You said you were lactose intolerant. You said you were.
I gained 100 pounds, and he's like, "Well, you got to lay off those milk and cookies."
I got to go Family Man, though. I got to go Family Man, too. I do enjoy Santa Claus, though, for the nostalgia. Like, we always watch it on Christmas Eve. That's kind of our thing. So we watched Elf last night, so we got that. All right, number 2. I got one more Christmas one for you here. Then we'll go say I got It's a Wonderful Life. That's the old school one. Or are you going Christmas Story, also old school as well, 70s? Are you going It's a Wonderful Life or Christmas Story? Which one are you going with, Case?
Probably the old school one. That It's a Wonderful Life. That one's just, to me, it's got. I don't know. I like Christmas Story, but I feel like The Wonderful Life is just a better story. It's not so. I don't know. It's
better than a Christmas Story.
Christmas meaning to it. Christmas Story is kind of like got the famous. I shot the eye out. The duck, the leg lamp. The dog eats the turkey. Like.
Oh.
I don't know.
We got Vegas chiming in here saying it's the best Christmas movie of all time. I'll say this: it does fit the nostalgia for me too, because it was either on TNT or TBS for
24 hours.
Hell, you knew you were getting it at some point, right, Tyler? It didn't matter where you were getting it. I do like that movie as well. I go Christmas Story. I do like Wonderful Life. My wife would go Wonderful Life, but. I go Christmas movies.
I must be an uncultured swine because I've never seen whatever. I've seen Christmas Story. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. I think
my dad's favorite movie too.
Very slow, but
no, it's not.
I don't know. They both don't really do anything for me. But I've definitely seen a Christmas Story.
I cannot believe you not seen It's a Wonderful Life. Your parents have let you down in society. My goodness, what are we doing here?
I'd tune it out immediately. It's terrible.
Just because it's black and white.
What's the main?
Because I like 12 Angry Men and I like old movies.
Yeah, but what's the actor in that? Jimmy Stewart. He's like one of the best too. No, I mean Jimmy Stewart. Like he's considered one of the best actors of the history.
What other movies he in? Is he in any other movie?
Well, I really like Rear Window. That's one of my other ones he's in as well. That's a great movie as well. It's about he gets hurt. He's like
I
never heard of it.
Oh, it's a great movie. He's like injured. And he's it's like a concept of it kind of made that movie. What's the one they did with Shia LaBeouf where it's like he's kind of spying on the neighbor? He's like spying on, it kind of it's not like that, but it has that type of kind of feel to it back there. So yeah, Jimmy Stewart, one of the best out there. Like smoked a lot of cigarettes. That's why he didn't last as long. But that's what it was. But I go Christmas Story as well, Tyler. you know what to do. NBC, it's always on 9 o'clock. So you get it Christmas Eve, so you can make it happen. So we got that one as well. All right, couple more here. It's a little kiddish, but we'll see. Vegas, I'd be curious if you're still with us, if you see these ones. All right, this is what my son said. Dad would rather see Richie Rich, one with
Macaulay
Culkin, or First Kid with Sinbad, where he's the son of the president.
Now we're talking my type of movie.
These are not black and white. These are perfectly immature movies that Tyler would. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
What do you go with, Tyler?
I'm going First Kid. That movie is just they go to the mall at the end. The bad guy looks like the prototypical bad guy from a 90s kids movie. Sinbad is absolutely hilarious with the spitballs and that movie is a classic. I'm going First Kid.
Yeah,
even though the kid is a little whiny and annoying at times.
No, he's very Illinois. Casey, Richie Rich. I feel like we saw that movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's why
Richie Rich or First Kid. That's what I went.
I'm going with First Kid. I've seen Richie Rich so many times, so I mean, Richie Rich has this thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool, like the Macintosh, you know, kid with like $1 million, and what would you do with it?
No, that's Blank Check.
Or Blank Check. Why Richie Rich? You're right. I'm sorry, Tyler. That's the one with the parents. I forgot about that. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I would still go First Kid. I like Sinbad. I mean, Sinbad's just, I don't know. This is an OG, a classic. He always makes me laugh. I did forget about Richie Rich. Dude, that's funny. I got those twisted. But yeah, I still go with First Kid though.
Yeah, Richie Rich is the one with Macaulay Culkin there. Would it make a difference? Would you go Blank Check or First Kid?
I go Blank Check.
I go Blank Check over all of them.
Yeah.
All right. So I First Kid's pretty good. I like that.
It is. That's great. Like
Richie Rich.
In the beginning.
Vegas. I like
Rich.
I like how Vegas go to a little off against us on these ones a little bit. I like it. Richie Rich is a great one. Yeah, I like that one too. But Blank Checks also. That one's good too. The slide. I always wanted that house. That's what I always wanted. That house he buys. That's the bigger thing I remember thinking about with that movie. Man, are you kidding me? A slide from your room that goes into a pool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. I'll take that all day.
Blank Check does have the creepiest part in any of the movies when the 30-year-old woman kisses the 12-year-old kid like on the lips and like, I'll see you in a couple years. I'm like,
well, it made
that
possible
is
a lot of
young lady.
a lot of possibilities possible. Blank Check is another good movie, but it makes absolutely no sense. That I will agree. That makes like Tyler just said, like a little teacher and stuff there. Who gives a blank check to a kid? Exactly. Nobody gives a blank check to a kid. All right.
The criminals.
Football. Little Giants or Angels in the outfield? Which one you going? Little Giants. Are we going with Angels in the outfield? The young Matthew.
I gotta go. It could happen. I got JP, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Matthew McConaughey, Ted Danson.
Danny Glover.
I gotta go Angels in the outfield. That's probably one of my favorite movies. Probably my second favorite baseball movie outside of The Sandlot. Little Giants is good too, though.
Not taking the fridge or the ice box.
The ice box.
Ice box. Little Giants or Angels in the outfield, Keith?
Angels in the outfield, no doubt. I mean, it's just like it's one of the best baseball movies ever. Like it's just like so many classic lines. It's just like run home, run home, run home. He's like, where's he going? Told him to run home. Like, take off. It's just like, man. So I just love it. So many good actors and actresses in that. Just like, it's just one of the classic movies for all times. It's just like what you think could be possible as a kid. It's like, it's easily the best. Little Giants, it's all right. I don't know. There's only so much you can put in that movie. It's all right.
I like the
annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year is better than Angels in the outfield. Would you guys agree?
She's stacked.
She's stacked. I would agree too. I think Rookie of the Year
did
is better.
That body good.
I like Angels in the outfield. I would lean that way too. Little Giants though is to me up there. I do enjoy that one as well. Just a little flashback one. Who's the main actor? He played Al Bundy in that one. I always thought I don't know. There's something the way he like even chews gum in that movie always cracks me up. Just like that. There's something like you want to watch those little. He does a good job with it. So.
Guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, he's in there too. It's kind of a funny comment. Yeah, I forget his name's Ed, but I can't think of it.
The guy from Val from Break is in it.
Yeah, I forgot he's from there too. The peanut butter
Aaron,
jelly sandwich.
It's Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, that's who it is. So I always enjoyed the storyline too. I kind of enjoyed that one too, and Little Giants. But I go Angels and Outfield too, as well. Maggie, no, I'm just kidding. Let me just get
That's
that.
He's
fine.
good with pigeons and Home
Good.
Alone too.
Very good with pigeons. All right, Tyler, we're gonna go more adult with you maybe here, and I got one more. Have you ever seen Almost Famous? Came out in 2000.
Yeah, Kate Hudson.
Or Boogie Nights. That's with Mark Wahlberg. Does a little adult business on the side there. What do you take with that one? I go Boogie Nights. I think there's too many like there's some crazy scenes in that movie. But I go with that one.
I gotta go Paul. Boogie Nights as well. Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg. Funny fact about that is Leonardo DiCaprio turned that movie down to do Titanic.
Good choice.
He would have been great in that movie as Mark Wahlberg's fire, but Mark Wahlberg does a good job. Who's the guy who's dead now who has the blonde hair? Philip Seymour Hoffman's great in that movie. I think Boogie Nights is a better movie.
Yeah. They were right there when you see a lot of lists. For some, that's kind of a.
What was the other option?
Almost Famous. Kate Hudson.
Yeah, I'd go. Yeah.
That was a good movie. It's a little slow for me. Compared to Boogie Nights, just has like these weird lines, like even the way. I can't forget the old guy's name now in that movie with the mustache, but he's kind of he plays that role pretty well too. So, Case, what do you go with, Boogie Nights or Almost Famous?
None of them. I've never seen either of them.
They're both over the top, but this one is Boogie Nights is you would like it, Case. It's nuts. It really Burt Reynolds. Thank you. That's who it is. He plays it as well. Like ton of good actors. Even the guy from Step Brothers, I believe, is in that one. That plays partners with Will Ferrell. He's in the movie. Like they're young, but it's a great movie. So
DJ Riley,
not kid friendly. Let's remember that, people. If you're watching with the young ones, not kid friendly. But you can. It is funny as hell. You wouldn't think it. Like it does get serious and dark at the end, but like there is a lot of funny lines like, in that movie at the beginning, especially.
Those two.
All right, last one I have. I only put these on because I watched them this week too. So I've watched more movies this week than I have probably in my whole year. It feels like, but these I watched them, so they're totally different. But I did watch them. We'll see. I'll see if you guys have seen these ones. Rainmaker. I talked about that with you, Casey, with Matt Damon and Danny DeVito. They're like lawyers, and there's a couple other guys in that. 1997. Or we watched it yesterday with the kids. 3 kids and three men and a baby.
I haven't seen either one.
Casey, you have a thought of those?
Rainmaker, 3 kids, 3 men and a baby. I mean, it is the classic 3 men, like the man, and Tom Selleck,
Ted Danson.
I mean, it is funny. The premise of it is hella funny. It's just 3 men and a baby, and they don't know what the hell to do. So I mean, I
didn't realize they got caught up in drugs at the beginning of the movie. I totally forgot it. Like where they I totally forgot about the heroin scenes, like where they're hiding it. I forgot that was even a thing with that movie. So, but Rainmaker I saw for the first time too. So those were I liked Rainmaker too. It was
like
Memphis
like
Lawyer.
you chose some obscure movies this time.
I did choose a little bit. Well, Rainmaker. I kind of went with some movies I are kind of under the radar because it's hard to just always pick movies. I don't know what movies you guys have always seen, but it's kind of funny to think which ones that we have seen and not seen. Tyler, we got to keep adding to your list. I did start Mystic River for you, so I am an hour in that. It's terribly sad already, but yeah. So yeah, I am watching that.
Great movie.
So Tyler, you have It's a Wonderful Life to watch, Rainmaker, and 3 kids and a baby. So yeah, or 3 men and a baby. I keep saying 3 kids and a baby. 3 men and a baby. So. Those are the ones that you gotta get. You gotta start watching those, Tyler. So we gotta get those. We gotta read MYS. So yeah, that as well. So anyways, that was my movie picks for the week. So that's what it is. Hope you enjoyed the segment. Vegas, appreciate you. You went opposite a lot of you guys on that one. So I enjoyed that. I am sorry, Tyler. Yeah. He's not seen
What are you sorry about?
We have not seen the movies yet. You gotta watch them. All right, Tyler. We wrap it up here. Winners and losers of the week. Appreciate you guys tuning in with us on it. You have to watch these movies. Yes, he does have to watch them. Those are the ones I've got with him. I did get him to watch Unknown way back in the day, so you got to watch that one. Unforgiven. Yeah, that's what it was.
I don't think I've seen Unknown. I don't know what that is.
I want to see have you seen Oppenheimer?
No.
Okay, so I haven't seen
Like
that.
the only Christopher Nolan movie I haven't seen.
I'm glad I didn't put it on the list. I haven't seen that one either yet, so I got to watch
You have to
Oppenheimer.
watch it 5 times to get through it.
Well, that's what I was like. Oh, I
I'm
saw.
not watching it 5 times. It's too long.
I remember Dad saying, "Watch." I remember watch Dancing with the Wolves. I was like, 3 hours. Good God! I was like, that's why like Titanic. I never will go back and rewatch either. It's too.
Titanic's a classic.
I
love
know, but it's
Titanic.
5
Lots
hours
of people
too.
hate on it.
He never dances with the freaking wolves, though.
Dance with the Wolves. Dash with.
The Wolves beat him at the end.
Unforgiven is a great one.
Oh,
That's
it's unreal.
a holiday one I kind of watched too. Not is Derek old enough for it? I don't know. We'll see. Is Derek old enough for
of
the
course.
Lord?
Should
All
go
right.
to Tremors or Anaconda.
What was it? Snakes on a plane or Anaconda? That's what we should do. Snakes on a plane or Anaconda. That's what we'll do next week. So look forward to that. Snakes on a plane or Anaconda.
Add Lake Placid to that mix. With the
Maybe
big alligator.
I should make it hard on you guys and pick a couple Selma Hayek movies too. Make it a little tough on you. Which ones?
What one does he take the most clothes off? I pick that one.
Wolves rush in. No.
No comment there with that. All right, winners and losers of the week. We'll wrap it up here. Case, where do you want to get us started with?
I'm gonna have to break Rhino's heart here. Brother Ryan, I watched the full game with my dad yesterday. The Sharks and Oilers, and a hell of a first period. Sharks up 2-1, and they were just fighting. And the goalie, I don't know how to say his name, Askarov or something like that for the Sharks. Unreal, dude, just unreal. And then with 20 seconds left in the game, the Oilers score to make it 2-2, and then about 15 seconds of the overtime, the Oilers won. And I was like, well, that's a big kick in the balls. So I'll go loser of the week. Hell of a game to watch. But, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow.
I forgot he was in Wild West. She was in Wild West. I forgot that. Usually there's a couple things that stand out when I watch movies with her, but I didn't see that one. I forgot about that.
No, there's a couple things that definitely stand out.
What do you got? Winners, Casey says, little Sharks action.
The loser.
Or loser of the week. I mean, loser of the week. Little Sharks action there. They go down. What do you got, T?
I mean, I had the college football playoffs, and then I wasn't here yesterday. I had Caitlin Clark talking out both sides of her mouth, saying white privilege is a thing, but also saying she earned everything she's gotten. I don't understand. And then I have the Mystics owner saying there's plenty of good girls who are not getting recognized. The whole league should have been on the cover of Time magazine.
That was our topic actually last week on this one.
And I was like, what the heck are we talking about? I was like, what the heck are we talking about? And I looked at the Mystics at home attendance. 30% of their attendance was from the 2 games they played Caitlin Clark.
It wasn't the best timing for that.
Very dumb.
I know Vegas, you guys are a big fan of the WNBA because you guys are out there with the Vegas Aces too out there. So, and I've watched a lot of your shows where you guys hit on it. I'd be curious your thoughts of those comments too, as well with the owner. Yeah, it wasn't. That was my loser of the week last week. Actually, was the owner of the Mystics or Liberty for that. I don't know. Yeah, I just thought that was not smart with that. I think Caitlin Clark's kind of in a tough spot, or she's trying to balance the line. I think that's where I say it's a tough spot. She's not picking. She's kind of like, I feel like she's trying to just kind of stay out of it a little bit, but I don't know. Well,
but how can you have earned everything and then say
that's what I mean? I think that's what it sounds like. Somebody to me trying to kind of balance both thoughts, like yes, no. Like it's like instead of just what's it? The Michael Jordan, just stay right in the middle there, stay neutral.
Yeah, Republicans buy sneakers too.
Loser, I had TV just like continues to be too expensive. I'm like, gosh, I get like YouTube jacks up their price now, and I'm like, how many apps am I gonna have to buy by 2025? Like I'm gonna have like 55 apps on my Roku with things. Clark is the unicorn of the W and needs someone who can play in public can relate to. She is. That's the one thing they do. Is like she is a unicorn and she does have things. So see how the WNBA markets that ability and how it plays out and how long she's in Indiana. I don't know.
Quick fact. I turned off the college football playoff games to watch college women's basketball. Juju Watkins and
who ended up winning that one?
Paige Bucher, USC 72-70. It was a great game. They both played well. UConn has some freshman big that is unbelievable. I don't like something strong. Number 21. I was like, man, this girl is better than Paige already. I'd rather have her on my college team.
Gino has a way. He gets those players all the time. Yeah, so I had TV too expensive. Had the kid had a sleepover for Derek's party. There was 3 kids over there. Not a fan. I realized not a fan of this. Not a fan of this sleepover.
Aren't you shocked our parents allowed us to have so many sleepovers? Like,
Well, we were nice and mature. We shut the door in the hallway so the light wouldn't come up to the.
we opened
the door. So I mean, we had some things that were. I felt like we were trying to help, right?
But then we were yelling at each other.
What do you guys have for winner of the week, Case?
Good winner of the week. I would say just the remembrance of Rickey Henderson, man. Just his life, how much he meant to me personally, growing up. Just like I said, one of the all-time athletes of not only Oakland, the Bay Area, but in the sports world. He just touched so many people, have so many stories. Just a champion on and off the field. Just truly resembles of like what you want someone to represent your city. I think he did it to the highest of high that you can do. And yeah, man, Rickey forever, man. He's the king, man. Man of steel for life.
It's kind of crazy how in the last year in Oakland, I'm just like there. You start to kind of think of things like that, right? When I don't know, just kind of right. The death of Oakland baseball in a sense, and then
Rickey Henderson Field,
icon of Oakland baseball. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of weird. It's kind of like the Willie Mays thing we talked about right before. I just like it's kind of weird how these things kind of happen sometimes, and we got that. So on your note, here's the Rickey part with Will Clark. I wanted to get up, and then we'll get to Tyler for winner of the week.
Back to your playing days, who was the most fun guy to have over at first base when you were playing first base and he was a runner? Who was the funniest guy, or who was the most fun you enjoyed having over there at first? Or did you just hate everybody?
All right. The funniest, hands down, is Rickey Henderson. That first base, this is spring training, I forget which year. Consigo and McGuire are coming up behind him, so LaRussa had put on a stop sign on him, and Ricky's getting pissed. And Rickey, when he was at first base, he always talked in the third person. So he goes, "Hey, Thrill, Rickey here." I go, "No, I know, Rick." so he's getting pissed. He's got the whole sign put on. You can see he's getting mad. He goes, "Thrill, Rickey want to run." And I said, "Well, Rick, go ahead on, Jack." He goes, "You got it, Thrill. Rickey gone." So I look in the dugout there, Roger Craig, he's looking at me. I go, "He's running right here, right?" So we pitch out. Rickey slides in because he's the best there was. He slides in safe at second base. He jumps up and he's pointing at me. He says, "I told you, Thrill, Rickey gone. Rickey gone."
Only and those are like kind of the funny stories with it. That was a great Will Clark with it. Yeah, I know who you are, man. I know. I know who you are, buddy. You don't have to tell me who you are. So that stuff's great with that. So that's a good winner of the week. Wanted to get that up there as well. I got one more winner of the week here too with it. But Tyler, what do you got for winner of the week?
I got a couple. I got Dre Greenlaw coming back, looking like old Dre Greenlaw, just absolute beast, changed the whole defense. And then I have Sacramento as a city. They were in the running to get Michael Vick, which was shocking enough to see come across my Twitter feed, which they didn't get, which says it surprised me. But then they have the Western Conference Rookie of the Month, and Jalen Wells in November, and the Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month, and Jared McCain, both coming from growing up in Sacramento, playing basketball there. So I had Sacramento, and then I have my 2 brothers. They both had birthdays this past week. So happy birthday, Kyle, Ryan. Love you,
There
baby.
we go. How close are their birthdays again? It's like 2 days.
14th and 17th.
Yeah, I knew it was close. 3 days. Happy birthday, Ryan. Sharks for Cup out there. The Oilers, they let you down with beating the Sharks yesterday. Kyle out there, we have to get golf here at some point. Not January 3rd like we did last year. That might not work. It was like so wet out there. All right, so that was winner of the week for T there. I'll go Johnson being home. That was good seeing Johnson there. I was going to Mary's. Jesse Powell, hadn't seen him in a long time. Adam out there, the Oakland Warriors. That was good out there doing that. Like I said, I like that idea of the home college football playoff game, so I'll say that. Lamar finally beats the Steelers. Grace's performance this week. I am a Christmas light person as well. I got to show this. I saw this online. I thought you guys would. You remember this play? It's one of my favorite calls ever.
First down, Jacksonville. They trail 13-0. The screen is intercepted. Big Keith Trailer. Look at him rumble. 40, 50. Watch out. The earth is shaking. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He won't give it up. Oh, my.
Chicago already has a refrigerator. Maybe they got room for an ice maker.
I love his face here. I love his face on this one. His little cheek, like it's like I remember when as kids we were joking. His helmet was like barely on his head. It felt like. But that's one of my favorite radio calls, though. I love give it up, hand it off. Like it's like it's one of my favorite calls of all time. Like the ground is shaking, and then I don't know. That's just one awesome one. Look at him rumbling. That is the definition of rumbling itself. And there, but I just love that call. Who is that? Gosh, I can't think of it right now.
Keith Trailer.
No, the announcer. Gosh, is it Dick Enberg?
Mike Patrick? Dick Enberg.
Yeah, that's just one of my favorite ones there. That's well. Look at him go. Hand it off. And like you hear that with announcers. That was kind of great. I remember that one as a kid with us. That one always standing out to me because of the helmet there barely feeling like it fit on his head there. So that was always kind of funny to me. So, all right. That was a good show, guys. Have a good Christmas out there, T.
Yep. Absolutely. You as well. And Casey, have good Christmas. Enjoy your family. Tell them I said Merry Christmas.
Vegas Benchwarmers, appreciate you tuning in with the comments this morning. That was fun. Appreciate your stuff there. Good luck on your pod as well. You guys do your next one. Enjoy the football out there, boys. We'll see ya